What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing the updated version of how the New York Giants can still make the playoffs. Yes, the New York Giants can still make the 2018 playoffs. We'll get into that in just a second. But real quickly, I do want to promote my other channel, guys. I'm starting to do more things on that channel since I have a lot more time. About to upload my week 4 of my connected franchise for the New York Giants on Madden 19 on that channel. So go ahead and check that out. Also, this weekend or maybe sometime next week, I do want to do some type of Madden, not really a tournament, but Madden face-off with my subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe to that channel for more information on that. I do want to get something going where I get to interact with my subscribers, play some games with them. We'll play some Madden, I guess some Call of Duty too, whatever we feel like doing. We'll get to doing that. So any of you gamers out there, go ahead and subscribe to that channel and we'll get something going on that. I do want to promote another series that I'm about to be starting soon in the near future on this channel. You guys know yesterday I started my latest in the league channel where it's basically like around the NFL. I'm just doing a bunch of headlines, a bunch of news stories from the NFL and compiling that into one video. It's kind of like a whole show, and it's not just Giants news, it's all NFL news. And I'm starting a new series in the next coming days or next coming week or so, and that channel is going to be called Off the Script. It's going to be a live show. I'm going to be just going live, and you guys get to come in to the show. You guys get to come into the chat and say whatever you want to say about the Giants or the NFL or whatever it is, and we're just going to be talking and talking and talking. It's going to be off the script. There's not going to be any subjects that we want to talk about. You may see certain additions like draft edition, free agency edition, or something else, some big headline that I want to go over, but it's going to be off the script. It's going to be anything you guys want to talk about. We'll talk about it. I'll read everybody's comments and we'll get it going like that. I'm really excited about the new series that I'm starting, and hopefully we'll get on to that very soon. So without further ado, let's get on to how the New York Giants can still make the playoffs. All right, so phase 1 and phase 2 have been completed. I'll put the picture up right now. Put it up right now. You've got the Dallas Cowboys over Philadelphia. You guys know that happened last week. The Dallas Cowboys over Philadelphia. Phase 1 is complete. We all had to root for Seattle to beat Minnesota on Monday Night Football, and that did happen. So here is the nitty-gritty. So we'll get the first thing out of the way, which is the easy part, right? The Giants have to win out, and that is the easy part, right? Everything is harder except this Giants thing. This is the easiest part that we have left. The Giants need to win out. I believe the Giants have a chance of winning out because you think about it, Tennessee is, I don't know, we can beat Tennessee. Indianapolis, the same thing. Dallas Cowboys probably our biggest problem, but if they already clinch the playoffs, they might be benching their starters, and they may even give us a free win. So, I mean, that can get us into the playoffs right there. Let's go over what we have to do. What help do we need from other teams to get into the playoffs? So we look at Carolina. They have to lose 2 out of their 3 games. You have New Orleans, Atlanta, and then New Orleans once again. This is probably the most likely situation to happen because New Orleans is so good, right? And they're going to probably want to get at least one win against Carolina and not get swept by them. They at least want to split with them. So if they do rest their starters in week 17, you do know they're going to get this win against them this week. So New Orleans, Atlanta, New Orleans. That is very, very a big possibility. We look at Philadelphia. They have to lose 2 out of their 3 games. Let's keep in mind, Carson Wentz, literally this just in, Carson Wentz is injured with, I believe, a back injury, and he will not be able to play in week 15, and he might miss out on the whole season. A lot of people are saying that his season is likely over. So with Philadelphia facing the Rams with Nick Foles' former team as well. We'll see what happens there if Nick Foles can produce, or if not have better production than Carson Wentz is having this year, because Carson Wentz isn't having the most phenomenal year this year. We'll see what happens with Nick Foles there, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles have a chance to win 2 out of the 3 with the Rams and Houston fighting for a playoff spot, and with the Rams trying to get that #1 seed. So Philadelphia also can very well lose 2 out of their 3 games. And then you got Washington. I believe Philadelphia could beat Washington with their eyes closed, so we'll see what happens there. But Minnesota has to lose their 2 out of 3 games for them as well. And this one is probably the hardest one I can see because Minnesota faces Miami, Detroit, and Chicago. Now, Chicago could very well beat Minnesota, but you never know. If Chicago has a playoff spot already, they may not be trying to win that game. When you see these playoff teams come week 17, they bench their starters. They already know they're making the playoffs. They're fine with the seed that they're at, and they're going to bench their starters, and they're going to play their backups, and they're probably going to lose the game. So you might see Chase Daniel out there. You might see other guys out there that you don't normally see on Sunday. So, you never know. Minnesota might win against Chicago Bears. We have to depend on Miami, and we have to depend on Detroit. Miami just got a big win off of New England. They usually do at Miami. So I don't know if the Minnesota game is at Miami or if it's at Minnesota. But I think Miami can get the win against Minnesota because they're at a turmoil there in Minnesota where Minnesota just fired their offensive coordinator, John DeFilippo. So their offense may be in more of a wreck than it already is because I don't believe Filippo was the problem. I believe Kirk Cousins is the problem. And the fact that he's moving over now to a new offensive coordinator may make him even worse. So with Kirk Cousins facing Miami, I have a strong feeling that Miami may win that game. Detroit needs to come up big for us. Detroit needs to come up big for us. I don't know who won the first meeting. I forgot who won the first meeting. I believe it was Minnesota. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure Detroit wants some blood. They're rivals, and they want some blood. Hopefully, Detroit gets that win. And then we move on to the Green Bay Packers, and this one is pretty easy for us. Green Bay has to face Chicago. I think Chicago can get that win. They have to face the Jets. I don't think the Jets can pull out a win, but the Green Bay Packers are terrible right now, so you never know if the Jets can get that win and play spoiler just a little bit. And then they have to face Detroit also. So Minnesota and Green Bay have to face Detroit. Detroit needs to come up big for us here in this final stretch of the regular season. With Green Bay having to face these teams, and they only need to lose one of these games. You have Chicago, the Jets, and Detroit. They're not going to win out. I don't believe Green Bay is going to win out. So I believe Green Bay, they're going to lose one of those games. So the Giants will be in contention to make the playoffs, and the Giants would have to travel to Chicago for the wild card game, and I'm sure Chicago is shaking in their boots, not because it's cold up there, but because the Giants are coming into town after beating them in overtime, a shocking thriller, I believe, in Week 13, and with the Giants coming to Soldier Field, I have a very, very good hunch about that. The Giants can at least compete in that game, if not win the game. So that is the updated playoff chances for the New York Giants. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You know, I did a video like this earlier on, about a couple weeks ago before I moved. It was a different setup, if you guys remember that. And I said the Giants really don't have a chance to make the playoffs through the wild card because at that time it was so clustered together. A lot of teams had the same record, if not very similar records, and a lot of teams were ahead of the Giants in the playoff race. I was like, okay, through the wild card, it's virtually impossible. But the Giants right now have a very good shot of making the playoffs. I think beating these 3 teams, winning out, is a very good chance than Carolina winning out, or Philadelphia winning out, or Minnesota winning out. I think we have a very, very good chance of making the playoffs. Seattle is already out of the equation because they are already on the fifth spot. And this is just a whole race for the 6th seed, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future. All right, guys, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my other channel. Link will be in the description below, and also be watching out for my new series on this channel, both my latest in the league series and my off the script series. So with that being said, I'm Kid Blue, and I'll see you guys in the next video.